not name into the mix because I don't really like him, but the guy that we picked up today, Keith Ford.
Yeah.
I don't see. He's just a guy. He's nothing special at all.
He's a camp body, and he has live game experience, so maybe he can give the younger guys some tips or something like that Jones and the other Williams haven't given the other guys. Maybe that's just an added bonus of basically just getting some extra knowledge in there. But yeah, he's nothing that's going to make me go, ooh, I need him on the roster. And Corey Grant, I'm keeping him on there just because of the fact he can return kicks and punt returns just like Trevor Davis can. And having two guys that can do that with that versatile speed, I love it.
I agree with that. Absolutely. I really want to see Corey Davis catching, passes out of the backfield. Or did I say
you mean Grant?
Corey Grant, I mean.
Corey Davis has been a Packer for a long time.
I'm like, oh, that'd be sweet. LaFleur brought him with.
Okay,
all right, ahead, so what's up next?
Wide receivers, go ahead. Your turn. You're up first. You know this one's going to be the fight of the century.
You want me to go first?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, obviously, you and I don't know who it was. It was maybe both of you guys. We were going back and forth on Twitter recently.
It was me.
Okay, it was. All right.
It was alcohol-induced Twitter fight.
Yeah, it totally was. That's all right. It was all in good fun. And so I was basically just stating I'm not a Jamon Moore stan by any means. I really liked him coming out of college, and he has absolutely disappointed me because I felt last year when we drafted him that he was going to be the best of those three wide receivers that we drafted last year, and he's clearly way behind the other two. So that being said, I do think he does have a lot of talent, and we have not played a single preseason game yet. And so by all accounts, he's had a pretty decent training camp, and I just said, let's just let this ride out and see what happens during the preseason if he can actually put together something. That being said, if I were to choose the receivers right now as it stands today, it's obviously Devontae Adams, Geronimo Allison, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Equanimeous St. Brown, and then my last two, because I'll say they're going to do six, is Jay Kumaro and Trevor Davis. So those would be my six right now. Kumaro, you can't deny it at this point. He just continues to make plays every single day.
The dude came out with a jam pinky today in a split and played in it and showed out.
Yeah, exactly. and Trevor Davis is having, by all accounts, the best camp he's had. And he brings something a little different than those other guys. One, obviously, he's got the return ability, but he's got some actual speed, So in this offense, they need some of that. That's the other reason why, though, I still like Theo Redding. I really like Theo Redding. I think depending on how preseason goes, he could be fighting for that sixth spot. They're not going to keep more than six wide receivers. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if they only kept five. But I think it's going to depend on how preseason pans out.
No, it's not you. You just fed straight into the beast. All right, Jay, go right ahead.
And I didn't even have to say anything. He just got there by himself. Just blind logic. Just bam, hit him right in the face. Your turn, Dave.
Are you sure? Because it transitions straight to what I know you're going to say.
No, because
so that's why I'm like.
No, it's okay. I can wait my turn because I'm going to end up being long-winded. Go ahead, Dave.
All right. I'm taking the same roster as Ryan. I've been wanting that roster ever since I saw OTAs with Davis in it, and he's got me on the Davis hype train. And Dusty Evely has me fully aboard the Davis train. I am fully on it. Kumaro literally has been on the standouts list almost every day in camp, and the head coach and the quarterback come out daily and say something about the guy. I mean, that tells you something. I don't think he's going to come out and be I don't think he's going to come out and be an explosive wide receiver in the fact of like an Adams or a Jordy. I think he's going to be more like a Donald Driver. I think, like, if you go back and think how Donald Driver was used in the offense when he first started, he was like a dirty work guy. He went and caught the underneath routes. He caught the slant routes for 7 or 8 yards, and he did a lot of the dirty work. I think that could be very useful in this offense, especially having that as a safety net for Rodgers, because he's going to work through his reads and his progressions. And the way it sounds, he's going to look for Kumaro if he can't get to that Adams route or MBS.
Yeah, you know what I read today about Kumaro? I think Rodgers made the comment is he has really good late hands.
Yes, I read that as well.
Which is really true, and that's the type of thing that it's just the little things that he does right, and that's what Rodgers has constantly talked about with Kumaro. And that's the thing too that even if you aren't getting major separation in the NFL, if you have really good late hands like that, then you don't need a lot of separation, because as a former cornerback, you're taught to read all of those keys, and their hands and eyes are part of that. If you can do it late, they don't have enough time as a corner to make a play on that ball. So
especially Aaron Rodgers too, getting the ball off before they even have their head around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a really underrated trait in a wide receiver.
So I'm going Adams. I'm going Allison. I think Geronimo killed it in the slot. I think MBS is going to be primed and ready for the outside spot. I think ESB is gonna, I think he's going to be a really big sleeper in the red zone just because of his size and his catch radius and what he showed on tape at Notre Dame. He has ridiculously big hands, and I think, and are strong as well. I think he's going to use that for the red zone, especially with Rodgers kind of always extending plays, and then obviously Kumaro and Davis. I'm the same roster lineup as Ryan. It just makes sense. Everyone has on that 6-man list has a connection with Rodgers. That's the thing. When you have that connection and the trust with your quarterback, that's what makes it count. If you put a guy on there that doesn't have his trust and you're dropping passes left and right in training camp or preseason games, it's a huge problem. He's not going to throw it to you during the regular season. I mean, perfect example. I know I've been ragging on him. Ryan knows this. Javon Moore bit himself in the butt last year when he couldn't hold on to the ball. He could, that's what confused me too, Ryan, is that tape of the Missouri back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons plus, and then you add on the fact that he had 18 or 19 touchdowns both seasons combined. And I'm thinking, he's doing this against SEC defensive backs. These guys are like almost toe level, ready to go, and he comes to the NFL and it's just like, poof. It's like a completely different player.
Yeah, it's that mental thing for him, I think.
Yeah, it's that mental wall, and I just think with Gutekunst grabbing 3 receivers that round and 2 of them producing, plus getting a rejuvenated Trevor Davis and a Kumaro that came out of nowhere, it just looks like he's the odd man out. I'm not saying he doesn't have the talent. It's just I don't think we're going to see the 7-man wide receiver list like McCarthy used to do. With this offense, you don't need it.
And thank you for once again
I was looking at the 50
my point.
Come on, Jay. Let's go.
You see how you guys both went through all this, refuting it, and then at the end, both of you came to the exact same conclusion that I'm about to make. There is not going to be 6 wide receivers on this roster because they don't need them. There will be Adams, NVS.
I said 7, not 6.
6, 7. There's not going to be any more than 5. They don't need them. There's 5 receivers.
Oh, stop it.
They're not going to run that 22 personnel like you used to see all the time. It's not going to happen, okay? It's going to be Adams, NVS, ESB, Moore, and Davis. And now, in the preseason, if Moore doesn't do his job, you can slide either Kumaro or Gmo in that spot. I have no problem with that. But here's the problem. All of those 5 receivers are 4th, 5th round picks. They're all draft capital in their rookie deal still. They're cheap. Kumaro, he's great. He'll be on IR before the preseason week 3. Gmo, look, he's been great, but again, I don't expect him to be around and healthy after week 4. Why? Because neither one of them done it yet. Like, it's one thing to play with a splint on your pinky finger, but once he gets hit from a safety, once he's coming across and his shoulder breaks again or his toe falls apart, it's not going to do much good. Kumaro's great in shorts, but when it comes to the games, somebody hits him and he seems to get hurt. So touchdown Jesus.
He did well in pads in training camp.
Okay, they're not hit. Stop it, Dave. Stop it.
You said only shorts. He performed well in pads too.
He's not lining up on the line of scrimmage to block. And unless they cut him or trade him, he's going to end up being an outside wide receiver. Graham is listed as a tight end. You can put whatever you want in front of him on the depth chart, but he is a wide receiver. So if you're stuck on the 6 wide receiver thing, just stop being stubborn, slide Graham up from tight end into your wide receiver thing with the other 5, and then that makes your beautiful 6 number that you all are stuck on and want to marry, and then you can probably guarantee that they'll add another tight end here because you can't have Graham, and they need a tight end in a lot of their sets on the front and back side. Well, if you only have 3 left and you can't count on Graham, that means that they're going to have to add another body. And so there's more than likely going to be 5 tight ends, but really, again, the fact that there's that in front of his name on the depth chart and on the roster is just there for circumstance because of the fight he got in 2 years ago with the Saints. And so nobody's going to list him as anything differently, but that's what he is at this point in his career. He's a big, slow, can't catch wide receiver making $10.5 million, and he's not doing very well in camp either.
I can't disagree with anything you just said. I alluded to it myself. I would not be surprised if it's only 5 wide receivers because of what you just said about Jimmy Graham. I agree.
Did you hear that, Dave? Did you hear that?
I'm sorry, I fell asleep from the same narrative I've been hearing all summer.
Yeah.
They ain't keeping 5, they're keeping 6.
Yeah, the 6th one's name is Jimmy Graham.
As a tight end on the depth chart paper. I'm telling you, 6 wide receivers. All right, let's hear those tight ends.
Tight ends. I got Graham, Lewis, Tanyan, Sternberger, and an unnamed player that's not on this freaking roster right now. So, question mark.
You're saying 5?
No, I'm saying 4 because I'm telling you, I have to list Graham as a tight end because that's the way it is, okay? That's the way the stupid thing works out, but he's not a freaking tight end. So they're keeping 4 tight ends, but so since I got to put Graham there, yeah, there's 5. But stop making me say that there's 5. It's 4 with Graham as whatever the hell you want to call him, but he's a big outside tight end that won't line up on the line of scrimmage, okay? You can keep calling him
He's just like Mother Teresa. He's a tight end.
You ain't funny like
Anyways, Ryan, what's your tight end list, buddy?
Yeah, again, this is going to end up being a numbers game. Depends on what happens over these 4 preseason games. If we get injuries at some position or someone really starts to show out in some other position where we don't want to lose that player, Jimmy Graham's going to be on this team because if we were going to cut him, we would have done that already. So that he's going to be on this team. Robert Tanyan obviously going to be on this team because he's the only tight end I'm hearing about even making plays right now during training camp. I hear nothing about Mercedes Lewis right now. I barely.
Yeah, he's been quiet.
Jimmy Graham. And Sternberger, I knew you wouldn't hear much about him because he's a rookie, and that's the hardest position for a rookie to come in.
Did well yesterday.
Learn. Yeah, until yesterday, until he gets, his head knocked off. So
cheap shot by Lonnie Johnson.
Yeah, but Sternberger's going to be on the team. He's too good. He's going to be long term. It's going to be Tanyan and Sternberger tight end show. But in the time being, I think potentially Mercedes Lewis could be surprise cut, depending on what happens at kind of other positions. So maybe they only go 3. I think Vitale is kind of the H-back kind of, fills kind of that 4th spot potentially